So if you ever wanted to replace your convertible top cylinders, this video may be for you. I had to do them on my 2000 Mustang convertible, and let's listen to them. I gotta get in the car. Put the windows down a bit. So much better. A little slower than it used to be because the cylinders are stronger. But if you want to learn how to do this, replace your cylinders so that they're quiet and work better and maybe don't leak, stick around. So before we get started, I just want to go over what I found online researching for this video, because basically I've got my car 190,000 miles and I've worn out the cylinders as part of the convertible top. And I looked for some really good information, just didn't find it. So I thought I'll make a video showing how it's done, or at least how I did mine. Some caveats: I have a roll cage, as you can see. And so it's in the front and center in almost every one of the shots, but it's not really going to change your process for changing the cylinders. And I want to shout out and say avoid the CJ Pony Parts video. What he shows is unworkable, really. He puts the top up halfway, and one of the cylinders is so good that it keeps the top up halfway while he works on, the cylinder replacement, which isn't going to work if you have worn out cylinders because your top is going up and down almost without any kind of input. Your top cylinders leak, and if that's the case, you can't use the method that CJ Pony Parts uses. So you could use this method. I won't discourage you from watching his video. It's not bad, but it's just fluff in my humble opinion. It doesn't really show what needs to be done, and makes it look simpler than it is, and it isn't that hard of a process. So the steps were straightforward. Just replace the cylinders. Make sure you have O-rings in the cylinders while you're replacing them. My cylinders came with O-rings in them already. And then tightening them is probably one of the trickiest parts. I learned how to tighten them enough by running the cylinders while they were off the car and watching for fluid leakage. That's in my video. Then the part about adding fluid, I recommend you get a turkey baster. Use Dextron 3. Again, nothing complicated, just a bit time consuming. My video will reflect that as well. And take your time, do this carefully. You'll save yourself a boatload of money. Plus, if you do it yourself and you do it right, there's nothing like the satisfaction. And also, you're not gonna break as many things, in my humble opinion, as people that are doing it as a time trial, because they're getting paid by the hour. So take your time, do it yourself carefully, and you should be fine. If I can do it, you can do it. Hope that helps. Okay, so when you get started with this whole thing, the first thing you got to do is pull the lower seat out, and that requires you to press in on these guys while you're lifting up on the seat. So you use like a small screwdriver flat to push here and pop that up, and the seat comes out. It just comes up and forward, okay? And then there's two bolts typically that hold the rear seat in, or nuts rather, and you loosen those and take those off, and those are missing on my car. I re-welded a bunch of stuff, and there's pads and all kinds of stuff back there. So this part of the work is not even remotely close to whatever yours is going to look like. So don't expect your car to look like this. My amplifiers have been long gone for decades, a decade or 2 decades almost. And that's a 10 farad cap, and the battery is on the left. It's a lithium ion anti-gravity battery. So that's where my amplifiers are. So don't expect this part to look exactly like yours. The plumbing is the same, and I'm just documenting the process from trying to walk you through the beginning. I also have a roll cage, which it's a half roll. Your car likely doesn't have that. Don't worry about it. It doesn't change anything. My top goes up and down over it. It does make getting my side pieces out more complicated, and I'm going to be painting those on my car. So these are 25 years old and they've seen a lot of sun damage, and it's just time to do that. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to loosen these nuts, or these bolts rather. I believe they're T35 Torx. They're Torx at the bottom here. You're going to loosen those so that you can pull the seat belts so that you can get this plastic out of the way. And I'm going to so basically these are T50s down here, and you just put a socket on them and loosen them. Now I recommend, these are going to come out, if you haven't done them for the first time, especially a Rust Belt state car, they're going to squeak at you a lot. Put some never sees on both of them. Pull those out so that way you can run this seat belt through this plastic. Forgot to mention that these side pieces are snapped into holes here. I mean, you can see them there. Let's see if I can get them on camera. Those holes right there are snapped in by those tabs. All right, you have to pop these out next, and they're just out of here. And also, if you have any kind of fastener holding this part in here, I tend to use zip ties, but I don't feel any here. I think we'll have to find it. Yeah, I do have a zip tie on both sides. I can see it. Not really visible in the light, but there it is. There's a zip tie on each side. I don't like those pop-in thingies, pop riveters or whatever. You also have typically two along here. Now mine are cut. This edge here and this hole is where those typically go. Mine are gone because of the roll cage. And then there's a pop-in one here on the edge. You have to pop up these parts here, your floor pieces. I just set them aside, and you want to keep track of which one's the drivers and which one's the passengers, and you remove them so that you can get this part out. So they just lift up. All right, so again, there's one here typically, and then two along this edge here, and then this pop-in one here. But there's a lot of overkill here, so I just pop those loose. I don't put them back. Pardon me. I probably should do something. I don't know. Maybe zip tie something down here. I don't know. It's because of the fitment of the seat and everything, and you never know. It's only got like the zip tie here holding it in, and these hickeys here, which are just pop outs. So pop them out. Undo the plug here. There's like 3 on each side. In other words, 1 here, 2 there, and then there's a plug down here. Pull that one, and the whole assembly then comes loose. It's just, in my case, there's a roll cage, so I have to flip this thing up and around that roll cage, and it's tricky. Okay, each of the side speakers is held in with 3 T20s Torx. 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Okay, so you gotta loosen those and then take your connectors out, which mine are not standard, so I'm not even gonna show them. There's 2, and just carefully loosen them and pull them out, and then take the speaker boxes out. That's down. Here's up. All right. So there's push pins in this headliner, okay, that you have to pull out so that you can get around it to get to the tips of these actuator bolts. There's at the ends of the actuators, there's Torx that will hold in the ends. Okay, when you get the bolt loose or the Torx loose, that holds the end of the pivot, that's the part that's pushing the top up and down, you'll find it's just one bolt. Looks like this. Okay? It's a T40. And what's special about it, it doesn't appear to have any closing fastener, and it's held in with thread lock. Okay? Unlike these bad boys, which hold the cylinders in place, which I swear I haven't loosened. And apparently have worked themselves loose over the course of 25 years. And that's it. The cylinder is now free. Not fog lights. Okay, you can kind of see some fluid coming out around. There we go. Around the tops of the cylinders. You see it? I think I'm running out of fluid at the top of the run, which is bad for the motor. Anyways, that's how they work. All right, so at this point, you're gonna wanna set your new cylinder in. Near the old one. We're gonna lose some fluid as we loosen this. So we're just gonna count on that happening. Now there's new O-rings in the new cylinders. So the main thing is, this is a number 11. I'm gonna hang on to this guy and just carefully keep the alignment of your, whoa, sorry tubes. So yeah, this was like, as I've already made it. And I need to do this. Oh, there goes tubes again. Sorry. Let's get this one taken off and replaced as well. Don't appear to need. There it is. It does turn easily. Again, orientation appears to be urge to cross thread these is high. I guess just got to get it where it's seated correctly. You don't want to cross thread anything. Let's not and say we did. You know what I'm saying? Very clearly started that way, right? Let's get her in. It's very clearly looser than when I first did it, or maybe it's possible that this cylinder has a completely separate design from the other cylinder. Don't know. I'm not going to over tighten things on purpose. Okay, I'm just going to leave them loose, wipe everything down. I'm going to look for fluid to spew or not. If it does, then I'll tighten them down some more. They weren't coming from the fittings last time. What I do know is I've got air in the cylinder as opposed to fluid right now. So we're going to pump some fluid into this thing, then we're going to fill the reservoir, and then we're going to pump some more fluid in, or fill the reservoir until this cylinder is happy and has fluid in it. So low on fluid already, you can tell. And we're definitely going to need to tighten those fittings more. You can see it's leaking right from the bottom fitting. So my theory about this being a different cylinder design is out the window. I just need to tighten these down until they are seated a bit better. It's a 12. Okay, I can feel what that guy was talking about now, who wrote the guide. I'm gonna look his name up so that I got this right. He's his thing was when you need to put a crescent wrench on this guy to hold him in place and tighten it. We went, I believe, a half turn past that. So we'll do something similar. And that one's snug. Let's do the same thing. They appear to be going up like in the same direction with each other, okay? So this one's coming down, that one's going up. We're gonna have to hold this as well. Yes, I'm not hallucinating. This definitely leaked fluid at a certain point. Okay, again, I'm at the point where I've got to put a crescent wrench in this bad boy, and I'm just going by feel, but I would say it's about between a quarter and a half turn, and it's you can see this bad boy here is hanging in place. Okay, let's see if it stopped hemorrhaging fluid, because that would be nice. Okay, put everything back down, and let's crank her up and down again. See if we create more of a fluid mess or not. Personally, I hope not. I'm getting sick of the smell of hydraulic fluid. Actually, it's Dextron 3. And that's interesting. These are nylon lines, and if you look, this one has a little bump in it. How would it get a bump in it? All right, let's crank her up and down again and watch it. For hemorrhaging fluid, shall we? And flag my video if I do that too much. Need to add fluid. Because I'm pumping air right now. So we'll add fluid. Better. This pump is about an inch or two raised up. You can see, so I can get the lines over the top of the extra items. You've got to pry out this plug, which you can use a pair of pliers if it helps. But I found it typically just, you just wiggle a thing out. And we'll just speed that part of the video up. Okay, I've already got it about, maybe a quarter of an inch out. Don't lose this plug. I don't know where you can get one to replace it. Very simple mechanism. I can hear a lot of air coming out of that thing, which tells me we were pressurized with air. All right. Essentially, you have to pour fluid into that hole somehow. All right, we are back with our turkey baster. We're gonna try this. Oh, well, sorry, tubes. Knocked you over again. Here we go. And I need a little light. Let's put some light on the subject. Okay, as previously discussed, don't lose this plug, as previously discussed. All right, what are we doing? We're putting automatic transmission fluid into this hole, power steering fluid, ATF. I've got some here. As previously said on video, look at that. Look at that. Oh, that is so much easier than prior efforts. Oops, I just spilled some anyway. It's because I am a klutz. All right, you see it coming up into the... That is so much better. I cannot tell you how much easier that is to fill with that baster than it is with a funnel. Because you can kind of tell, actually, you're trying to fill it to the level here on the reservoir. This whole, I've taken one of these apart. This whole thing here is basically like an oil filter top. It's a can over the top of the area where the intake for the convertible top pump runs. And it's really brain dead simple. There are a couple of relays here that run the pump forward or backward based on which way the polarity of the 12 volts is running the pump. So we're going to run these cylinders up and down a bit and get some fluid into them. Accessory position on. Wow. Hear it? So, it has consumed that fluid. We're gonna go and grab some more fluid. Okay, we don't need that much. And we're gonna fill this thing up. All right. Sounds hungry still. Let's let it settle down. I suspect what we're hearing is air bubbling out of the return lines for the cylinders. I'm still listening to it bubble away. Let's get a little more fluid into it. What I love about this baster is I can see so clearly how much fluid is in the thing. All right, let's run it back down. Hear it? It still wants more fluid. Wow. We were somewhat dry. Oh. I still think we need more fluid. Let's find out. I think I remember reading somewhere it's a pint that thing holds. I can't remember. But You're just supposed to fill it level with that hole, which I think we just have. Again though, we're running air out of the system, so I can hear air coming out and fluid going in all through the whole system. So we're just going to keep doing this until it just works without hearing those gurgling noises. The other thing I like about this turkey baster is, as you can see, it just fits just perfectly in the bottle, quart bottle. So I got mine at a local grocery store chain called Giant Eagle. I'm sure that most grocery stores stock something like this. It's perfect for what we're trying to do here. You can see I pumped almost all of that in there. Let's get some more, shall we? Down you go again. Listen to it. Wow. We're gonna need more fluid. I think I got another bottle of this somewhere. Let me go hunt it down. Hang on, tubes. Not, let's put you here. What I've been doing is running the top up and down just a little bit at a time and listening for the gurgling noises in the pump, and there are many until you get the air out of the system. Again, I've only done one cylinder. I'm sure I'm gonna face this same issue with the other cylinder because there'll be a lot of air in that cylinder as well. You can see it's drinking that fluid. And again, this turkey baster is the way to go. It's slow, but still quicker than that funnel because you just spill tons of fluid with the funnel. Here, at least, I'm just getting the fluid in the reservoir, which is a nice feature. All right, let's do it. Let's see if you can see the cylinder. I'll try and get it into view here. That'll be interesting. Let me run the top while I hold the cylinder. Hear the fluid kind of gurgling a bit. See the other cylinder? That extends at a different rate than this one. Notice how you're not hearing it gurgle anymore. It's just going, there we go. There was a little bit of air. So I'm guessing this cylinder is going to be slower than that one, but stronger, because it needs more fluid pushed through it in order to work. The other thing I'm noting is this cylinder is not leaking. So I could bolt it in place if I wanted, but I don't want to. Not until they're both able to go in place and bolt to the top. So let me, I've already filmed changing one of these. Let's do it again in case I missed anything. Note that I'm putting a bunch of this paper towels underneath everything. You're gonna want to roll paper towels or shop towels. That's what I'm using, because you're definitely gonna spill fluid doing this. I mean, I know some of y'all aren't as messy as I am, and I probably set the record doing my coyote swap for messy. I'm telling you right now, that was messy. Shall we? We want to know if we're leaking, okay? So all the old stuff kind of needs to come out of the equation. Just clean it up roughly, because you might be leaking, in which case you're going to clean again. You got time for a final clean if you're doing the job yourself. All right. Let me put down some fresh towel. Okay, for this thing to lay on. All right. Car is still powered. We can run that up and down a bit. Note, we should have run it down before we, oh boy. We're gonna run the top down first. Okay, and I'm gonna fill some fluid in there. We just sucked a bunch of air out of that line. Okay, hear it gurgling away. You may not on camera, but I can hear it with my head near the pump. It's thirsty and it wants more fluid. Okay, down. Hear it? It's just coming down, it's getting air in the system, so it's wanting more fluid. The good news is I'm looking at my fittings on both cylinders. I'm not seeing any leakage, so all of my fittings are good. This turkey baster is almost perfect for this job. It reaches just to the bottom of my... I think I'm gonna have to go for more ATF. Important thing, our cylinders are not leaking. Okay? One more check here, okay? These top cylinders have roughly the same travel as the other ones, all right? You can kind of see it. This pin here lines up with that pin there. Actually, this one looks like it might have just a skosh more travel. Maybe the same though. It's just visuals, all right? So, let's put a cap on this. I've got a spot for the transmission fluid here somewhere. Oh. This is my convertible top fluid though. It's not the same thing. Yeah, it is. Here's our rubber plug, okay? Don't lose your rubber plug. It just pushes right back in like that. All right. Assembly is the reverse of disassembly. We're gonna keep up and fit everything in with it though. Let's do that. So, use your roll cage as a support mechanism. Just come get the top. I've seen guys talk about converting their convertible top to a manual. It really is pretty straightforward. Like, as in removing all of these components. I'm sure it saves weight and reduces complexity, but chicks gotta wonder, why are you putting your top up by hand? You know, I mean, that kind of stuff's embarrassing. Okay, let's do the right-hand cylinder first. A little light on the subject is gonna help. Let's position that strategically. So, these bad boys pivot off of this pivot here, okay? And can't remember. They go to a pin assembly. And they have to go up inside there. That cage. Shall we? Ta-da! Really complicated. Then there's this keeper, and it wants a little use some of this stuff. I like it. It's pretty good. All right, I'm just gonna spritz some of this liquid wrench super lubricant on that, and in this hole here. And that, believe it or not, will be enough. All right. Okay, the keeper assembly looks like this. It is extremely simple, the mechanism, and for whatever reason, my bolts were loose. And these look like they might be 13s. Let's hope that they are. They're 13s. I don't know why mine were loose, but they were finger tight when I took the top off. Or not the top off, but the cylinder off. I could just loosen them with my fingers. I don't think that they're supposed to be that way. And I'm not sure what happened. Okay, but that's good. And it pivots, okay? So now you've got one of these pins. Okay, I can see them. It's in sight. Let's see if I can position the tubes so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay. Well, still no clear view of it. Maybe clear enough. Let's bring that down. I should have loosened this headliner just a little bit, but this is enough. Let's bring her down some. A little more. A little more. One skosh. think we can get this guy through. Yeah, that's gonna do a lot of good. That looks good. Let's see if we can't get that thing started. Yes. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, come on. I think it started. I feel it tightening. Don't over tighten, just get it good and snug. And it should be in place. And I feel it tight. Looks good. Okay. We got one more to do. Over here. See if I can't get that on video a little bit better. Again, more light on the subject. Okay. Here you go, tubes. I'm going to set you here. Okay. Anti-gravity lithium-ion battery in my car that you see in that video. It's rather precariously mounted. Very well protected, I have to say. There we go. Oh. Let's put the top up and down. Listen to that. Just perfect. No gurgling. Goes right up. All right. I could put it, latch it. Okay, latched. Let's unlatch. Put the thing back down. Free. Gotta be careful. It is unlatched. Got a little bit of at the end there. But I don't hear any the normal noises that I would hear when when the cylinders were leaky. You could hear them sort of gurgling. That's the word I would use at the end as they went up and down. And so that's kind of nice. So let me get your tubes. Hang on. As you can see, putting my seats back is probably more of a challenge for me than it is for you. My door cards or rear seat plastic is really difficult to get in thanks to the roll cage. Yours will go in a lot easier if you don't have something like this. This is a chrome moly unit from Griggs Racing, and as sturdy as it could be, but it's definitely intrusive when it comes to the door cards. And I'm thinking I'm gonna make some sort of something for these just to hide this unpleasantness here. But everything's back together and it's all working like it should, and so I can continue to enjoy my summer. As I previously mentioned, this car's highly modified. All of the problems are caused by me. I do have one last piece of plastic to put in here. Let's do that while we're on camera here, shall we? And you can see power cables hiding underneath that too. See, it's got like some of the tabs broken off of it. The only thing holding it in is like 2 of these clips. So there's that. I've just learned over time to, if it works and it's good enough for my car, that not to futz on it too much and just learn to accept it for what it is. The old girl's 25 years old, and the fact that I have a usable car that's this much fun at 25 years old says volumes. So thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. And this is, I know, not my normal fare of video, but I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch up on the next video.